it's snowing out, so I thought I would add a snow review to this review of our CX-30. This window mount that I have is a little shaky. I've never used this one before, so sorry it's vibrating. Hopefully it's not that bad once I put the video together. So what I have on here is so this is the CX-30 turbo all-wheel drive review. I have Michelin Cross Climate tires on this car right now. For the size on this car, I think that was the best tire. I've never run these tires before. They're pretty highly rated. They're all-season tire with the snowflake, so there's not a winter tire. They're considered an all-season tire with the snowflake. If you live in a really snowy area, you'll know what I mean. So we're in Colorado. We have to have really good tires. I think with our cars, we do pretty good with the all-season tires. We don't usually run a pure winter tire. So we're gonna get a lot of snow. We probably only got about 1 inch now, but that's really can be when it's the most slippery. So I'm gonna turn around, and we live on a pretty good hill. It's probably an 8% grade towards our house, and I'll show you how it does there. On these conditions, like I'd call this medium slippery. It's not ice. It's not packed. And it's pretty cold. It's 22 degrees. So these aren't, medium slippery. In these conditions, like I'm going 35 right now. No problem. There's a little bit of ice underneath because we've had snow on and off. But yeah, the car's fine. So I'm gonna go down to the end of the road, turn around, and tell you a little bit more about the handling. I haven't turned around yet, but I'm coming up on a windy part of the road that I thought I'd record. This car doesn't have a snow setting. What I usually do is, you can just control the gearing yourself. This car has paddle shifters, or you can put it in manual to control your tire speed. But it's a pretty windy part of the road. This is where it's usually the worst. I'm going 32 through here. 35. I'm in 4th gear. It really does good. I've driven this car in deep snow also, and it's a light car, so it drives like a light car in the snow. So it doesn't really plow through everything, but it does fine. I mean, it's going to slide if there's a ton of snow. I mean, any car's going to slide. But it did well. It did really well. As good as it needs to. Like, I wouldn't think twice. This would be the car we would take skiing, and I wouldn't worry about it. Usually the roads are going to be plowed. So for traction, I'm usually concerned mostly with what it's like when it's plowed, what it's like when it's packed. You don't usually drive in deep snow. If I got in deep snow with this car, I'd be fine. The tires would spin and I'd get out. There'd be a little sliding. But yeah, 90% of the bad condition driving you're gonna do, in Colorado at least, is packed snow or ice. So this is pretty slippery right here. I'm going 27. 27. It's really no problem. In this whole video, I haven't slid at all. If you live in a snowy area, you kind of learn what it looks like. You can just look at the road and tell how slippery it is. And these aren't, like I said, this is medium slippery. So not that bad, but in these conditions, this car's great. No problem at all. All right, I'm gonna turn around here. So I'm gonna pull out of this parking lot. Yeah, I didn't punch it, but really no slipping. Sorry about that. So a little bit about this car traction-wise. So it's all-wheel drive, and a lot of cars will have different settings. There's really nothing I could do. I don't think I can even turn off traction control in this car. I think it has a front wheel bias. My car, my Mercedes, is a 60-40, 60 in the rear, 40 in the front. This car feels a lot more like it has a front wheel bias. If you punch it on the dry, you'll feel torque steering. If it had more of a rear wheel bias, you wouldn't feel that. So I think on dry pavement, it wants to go to the front. From what I understand, the Mazda all-wheel drive system is pretty smart. So in these conditions, it's gonna direct the power to the wheel that needs it. In other snow driving that I've done, I think one thing that's really important for snow driving is how the car slides when it does slide. You want the car to slide all sideways. You don't want the back end to jump out. So I've experimented in other snowstorms, giving it gas enough to make it break loose, and it's predictable, which is really important for a car in the snow. Even an all-wheel drive car, you're going to lose traction. What does it do when it loses traction? This car slides well when it does lose traction. If that makes sense. Like, you're going to slide around a corner, you can slide evenly around a corner. I mean, it doesn't push, and it doesn't, the back end isn't going to break away. So I think so far that's been really good. It has good sliding characteristics. And but yeah, so there's no settings for adjusting it besides putting it in manual. I'm going 40 here. It's probably, I mean, the speed limit's only 30, so really no problems in this at all. Of course, it has anti-lock braking. The braking seems good. I'll test the braking here on the straightaway and show you what it's like. Might as well do a braking test. So this is a really sharp corner right here. I'm going 25. Car doesn't really slide at all. This could be a back corner too. And 35, no sliding at all. Maybe a teeny bit. All right, I'm gonna hit the brakes. I'm going 35. Sliding. Stopped. So that was a full stop, and then I put my foot all the way to the floor, and I had the traction warning come on, but like I said, it stayed straight. So the tires were spinning. I don't know which tires were spinning, but it stayed straight. So that was a full-on braking and full-on acceleration. Stayed totally straight. I'm gonna turn this camera a little bit. Let's see. There you go. All right, I'm gonna do that again. We're gonna do a full-on brake from 30, sliding, stop. Now I'm gonna punch it. Started going right just a little bit, but I'm already back up to 35. So this is medium slippery snow. I think that's pretty good. I mean, I think it's great. Because this is probably what you would see most. If you're gonna go driving in the mountains, you're gonna be driving on this kind of stuff. All right, I'm gonna turn it back on here when we get to the steep part of the hill. Okay, so this is where the road starts going up a little bit. What happens here is this is where there's accidents, and this is where people go off the road, and sometimes what happens is you come home and you get here, or you get on the steepest part, and there's cars all over the place, and there's cop cars, and you have to stop. And it's probably, this might be 9% grade. It's pretty slippery, or sorry, pretty steep. And you get here and you don't want to stop, right? But you have to, and it's nice to know that you can get going. So I'm going to stop here. Like I said, I'm on probably a 9% grade right now. Stopped, And I'm going to give it slow gas like I would if there was cars all over the place. And no traction control warning. Accelerating nicely. I'm up to 20. And I'm going to stop again. This might even be a little steeper right here. So, little gas. Little slipping. There you go. I'm up to 15. So that's my biggest concern, and the kids drive this car, is that they're coming home and there's an accident here and you have to stop and weave through these corners on a 9% grade. It's the first thing I test. Like right when I get our cars, I always go down to that part of the hill, see how it does in the snow. And it's great. If you can do that, if you can start on that kind of hill in this snow, in my mind, that's what you need. That's a really good snow car right there. You go into the mountains, you're going to end up in the same situation. You get stuck somewhere going up the pass. You don't want to be in a pass and be the guy that can't get going again, and it creates a whole cluster for everyone trying to go up the hill. So you need to be able to stop on the hill and get going. So that's it. If you have any questions about snow handling, any questions I didn't answer, leave a note, and I'd be happy to get back to you. I want to add one more thing about tires. Like I said, these are the Michelin Cross Climate. They're a directional tire. It's not a real aggressive tread, but for the driving that we do in the winter, the scariest driving is on ice. And I'd rather a tire, at least for this car, that's the best on snowpack. You really can't get a super deep tread tire for this car anyways, but I'd kind of lean towards, good traction in this kind of snow and ice. And that's where I ended up with the Cross Climate. This car, so this is a Lexus GX. This is a great snow car. These, we run the BF Goodrich All-Terrain TA KO2. You can see it's a much deeper tread. You can't get those for the Mazda tire size. Even if it was available, I'm not sure I'd go for it. Those are better in deep snow, right? Deeper tread, but not as good on the ice. But these are that's one of my favorite tires. All around, that's a great tire. That's just a snowflake tire too. That's not a winter tire. That's an all-season severe winter service, I think they call it. So anyhow, so that's the difference in tires, at least that we run up here. That's a great deep snow car. This is probably better on this kind of stuff, or ice, or those tires are at least. Okay, there you go. Hope that helped. Thanks. The snow has pretty much stopped. We ended up getting about 10 inches. I thought I would, as long as there's this much snow, thought I might as well just go for another quick ride. Like I was saying, the roads are plowed, they're snow packed. It's probably 10 inches of snow around, but the roads aren't much different than yesterday. But we'll go take a drive. We haven't had much snow, so really happy that we got this. So one thing I don't like, as long as we're doing a snow review, is that, I don't know if you notice how the wipers tuck under the hood, and for snow it's nice to be able to pull the wipers all the way off the windshield when you have to scrape or clear off a lot of snow. I don't know if I can stop these wipers in the middle of the window to do that, but it's really hard to clean the track, so that's kind of a negative. Maybe there's something I'm missing, but it doesn't appear you can stop the wipers in the middle of the window to do that, and you really can't pull them straight out I'm gonna look at the owner's manual. There must be some way, because to replace the wiper would be really tough in that position. Anyhow, just something I'm noticing. All right, we're gonna go get some coffee. Okay, here we go. So, since yesterday, yeah, probably 10 inches of snow. Road's more snow packed. It's 15 degrees. So honestly, I'd probably call this less slippery than yesterday. When it's really cold and there's snow on the road, it can almost be sticky. So I'm going 22. It might be, that's probably as slippery as yesterday. Definitely more snow on the road, but I can feel it a little bit. I'm in third gear. So this is the big hill. So this is the 9% grade. And yeah, so I can just downshift, second gear. So I can definitely feel the snow on the road. Yeah, but it's clearly fine. So I'll turn this on when we go through the corners. I won't do another braking test. Like I said, I think it was this slippery yesterday. Going 30 right here. And I'm not trying to go fast. This is just, I mean, speed limit's 40 through here, but. So I'll turn it on in the corners and then we'll go to Dutch Brothers. I'm going 30. This is, here's some corners coming up here, but still I'm doing fine. Definitely feel more snow on the road today, but no serious slipping. 25 through here, second gear. Maybe a little slipping, but like I said yesterday too, it's predictable. It slides consistently around the corners. It's, you know, no fishtail or anything. Okay, so that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, let me know. But I think that's a pretty good idea how this car's in the snow. Yeah, really happy so far, and hope you enjoyed the video. Today's New Year's Day, so Happy New Year.